Welcome back to realm, the strange realm of mine. That's it. We're going to where we left off of being this dark dungeon again. It's is this supposed to be a challenge where my bullet? It's like a mini golf. Don't hit the fucking ball against the windmill fan. Oh shit, this difficult. Oh no, that was so hard. That was so hard, man. Whew. Jesus Christ. I mean, why would they expect that to enhance the difficulty on it? Honest to fucking God. Is there like a higher difficulty where it's going a mile, like, that is a mile per hour, maybe. But fucking... Are you the threat? I'm going to assume so. Alrighty then. Oh yeah, I forgot not to reload preemptively. It's realistic reloading, so I gotta be careful. I mean, I missed only because of the accuracy of the gun. Seriously, it's just the accuracy of the gun. It wasn't because of me. What are you doing on the table? What? What am I looking at? No. Oh jeez. Oh god. That was so mildly creepy. So what the fuck is this thing? It looks like it's turning into a face when it forms its... Yeah. Weird. What is this supposed to be? I can't walk into it. It turns into a face when the stone goes around it. So what is that supposed to mean exactly? No, can't destroy it. I don't think I can, or just not yet. Oh, jeez. You startled me, Jesus! Seems like it's filled with the regular weak zombies, and then a little bit of the stronger. Oh, Jesus. Relentless! And then somewhat filled with, you know, the stronger zombies. I think I need to shoot something across there, but, and that might be the ending. Anything underneath the elevator? No. Get over here. I don't know, there's just not much really going on. Except zombie killing. But they are a surprising amount. This place is just littered with them. And they're deliberately put around every fucking corner. Puzzle. Ah, of course, a puzzle. I'm assuming this is the right way. Oops. It's a weird image, but okay. I have ascended. I'm trying to be better than God. How is that objective even rational? How can you be better than God when God is either presumed to be omnipresent and all-knowing? But you know, if you're religious and you read either the Bible or any of your other gods, usually they're portrayed as like either warmongering or hateful, or they've murdered a lot of people. I mean, so it's either an impossibility to be better than a god, or it's super fucking easy, and all you have to do is be loving and don't be a prick. The fuck am I saying? I ain't even enter my prime. It's not my final form. Taking over the world. We'll do it one day at a time. Time is an illusion. So how can you do it one day at a time if time is an illusion? Wouldn't that mean your objective of being better than God is in itself an illusion? I think that I'm losing my mind. Flatbush zombies. Alrighty then. I think reading that message itself was a waste of time. It was just sort of like the rambling of a madman trying to make sense of things, but never being able to. Yep. Oh yeah, there's the elevator. Jeez, I was like, where the fuck's the elevator? It's the wrong fucking corner. There we go. This way, zombie. No zombies! Well, ain't that surprising? There wasn't a zombie here or here! Wow. Hello? I'm just gonna enter your safe space. I'm gonna enter you, okay. This seems problematic. Okay, I'm just gonna go out one way and out the other. My gun vanished. Well, this ain't good. I'm getting consumed by the face pink stone thing. What is even going on? I'm gonna drink a coffee while this is happening. We dream of light in a pitch black room. Are our dreams and reality one and the same? Is our perception of reality just God dreaming of light? If so, I thank God for the light. It's the most beautiful dream I've ever had. Interesting. Never-ending dream. Oh, it makes it sound like it's almost nearing the end of the game. Back to this person. Who's probably not... Well, he might join the harem, but it's definitely he, so it won't add to the female harem. Which is mildly a disappointment. I think these haven't changed, though it looks somewhat different. The puzzle's the same. Alright, what's up, you? You're gonna have a long conversation, aren't you? Have you given the concept of God some thought? Okay, this is completely subjective. God is our consciousness. I think all these answers are right, honestly. God is our consciousness. I mean, if you're going to be an atheist, you may as well compare that to ego, id, and superego. Or more so just superego, I do believe. God is everything. Or is this supposed to be id? I can't remember the differences of ego, id, and superego. And no, that does not mean you go to Wikipedia and then copy-paste the fucking answers. I know what they are, just not off the top of my tongue. But yeah, I think the answer is all of these. Or perhaps none of them are a bad answer? I'm hoping they don't lead to different endings. I think they just lead to a mildly different answer or choice afterwards, or result or reaction, but I think they're all basically the same. God... Never did, I'll go with. I'm agnostic, personally, but for me to believe something, I have to see it. I have to be able to measure it. I have to see it firsthand, or experience it firsthand. It'd be like if I was a young teenager, puberty, and you'd be like, hey man, this is sex, and I'd be like, what? And then when you first have sex, you're like, oh, that's sex. That's just one example. I could have made so many examples, and I chose sex for whatever fucking reason. Either way, I'll go with the agnostic one. But what about consciousness? Well, I only had 3 options. I took 1. Shut the fuck up. If the universe was all just random mathematics colliding about, wouldn't the whole universe only run like a clockwork without any watchers? Where does these hypothetical watchers come from? Without anyone to experience said clockwork, I think the key here is awareness. I mean, what do you mean, without anyone to experience said clockwork? I mean, you have people who are experts in observing space, and we're trying to observe, like, the black hole when the Big Bang first happened, and we can measure the little noises that happen, the blips, and people are experiencing that, and that's where people think is the first beginning of the universe. That's interesting. So, I think key here is awareness. If you create a computer simulation, pure mathematics, you wouldn't expect it to be conscious, or aware of itself, right? And there really isn't anything different between our material world and that of a computer simulation. Well, you're saying wouldn't expect it to be conscious or aware of itself, right? I mean, it depends. We could bring up the Matrix, or our own theories of us being in a... there's a theory that we are in the universe, we're in like a cube, and it's like, it's it's referenced even the Adventure Time creators even have that in their cartoon universe, that everything is just synthetic, or that everything is just in a virtual reality. Like, our world is virtual and nothing's really real, but it's all fun. But yeah, here we are, conscious, we are alive, supposedly. We experience something a different simple equation or simulation would not do. Who says? Random variables are mathematical too, you know? We're missing an ingredient, consciousness. Can you call that consciousness God, or at least a big part of it? I would deny that on the whole neurological point. I knew and also learned in university that it has been tested between individualism and determinism, sorry. Yeah, determinism and individualism. That typically our brain's reaction and our movement are a little bit more conflicting than you'd think. I'd tell you guys, if you want to read something interesting, look up determination or determinism versus individualism. That usually it's only a societal taught lesson that you are an individual, you're told your actions have consequences and responsibilities, more so just for informal norms rather than because of scientific fact. Because if you think that everything is fate-wise, like on a single string, you think, well, if I commit a crime, I mean, that's just my fate. I was destined to do this. So I can't take any blame for myself, they would argue. So people like to push the idea of individualism, of individual choice and consequences, because it puts the guilt and the blame on the individual if they do something bad, rather than if it was determinism, people think, well, if I did this, it must be because it was determined, it was predetermined. If you empower yourself to think that your actions have consequences, you can avoid it, and you presume yourself to have free will, because the whole question is free will versus not free will. It's not so clear-cut as you'd think. It's interesting to look up. But yes, have you given the concept of God some thought? Sure, interesting. What about materia? What is this, Final Fantasy VII? The solid ground that we stand on. What about the darkness, the void, surrounding the light, allowing the light to exist? What about the logic behind the curtains that runs everything? If God is only part of the universe, what makes up the other half? You have to rant about every single thing I taught. Like I said, it's all these. Yes, that's what I feel as well. God is the whole picture of the universe, with all of its dimensions, possibilities, logics, together with the conscious part, going aimlessly through this maze that is ourself. How did it all start? Well, I don't think it all ever started. It's just always been in the state that it is, but I think we chose to explore it as a single consciousness from a one-dimensional impulse that runs between 0 and 1. That impulse ran through all the possible possibilities until it felt like the need to reach new directions in its very one-dimensional life, and thus the second dimension was created in the third, and now we have 8 or 11 dimensions we have to worry about now. These dimensions, of course, already existed as our possible universe, or God contains every possible possibility, so the universe is more of a state than anything. Are you pushing some kind of religious symbolism onto me, boy? It's not moving or expanding, only specific paths expand themselves, but God as a whole does not. It's just simply you moving through yourself. Amazing. The world, everything in it. Oh, God, I'm getting hot in my fucking room. I hate this fucking heat wave, seriously. World, everything in it is static, a maze that stretches out in all directions, tunnels. The only thing that moves are we, the observers. We move through the maze. We are time, and we can change our perception of time too. With substances or situations that are critical, you can even train to control your time flow, but it's quite scary and overwhelming. Time to drink my coffee before it gets cold. That's some good fucking coffee. Will I or God ever die? Part of death is forgetting about the illusion of you, the ego, so will you, the body or person you once were or currently are, die or always existed? Will always exist in the tunnels of the universe, but that body is an illusion. The real you, the being behind it, will never end or die. And that's basically why I bring up before that I feel, and I think, and it's not completely heuristics, I think mind, soul, and brain vessel as the body are separate. It cannot be scientifically defined, and I know the cognitive functions of the brain and the limbic system, everything in the brain is clear-cut, more or less, but there's still giant giant unknowns and mysteries that we don't know much about the brain at all. It's really fucking complicated, and it's a huge supercomputer. And just our little squishy brains, we have a huge supercomputer here. We won't get even like, it's like we're using 100% of it, but we're also just using like such a tiny amount. We're always using 100%. The whole myth about using only 30% of our brains is a myth. We're always using all of it, but some people more than others. There's always a light at the end of the tunnel. Tunnels end, but pure consciousness never ends. It's a state. Take your time to digest it. That's why you're here. I'm gonna forget it in the next 5 seconds. I'll tell you how to use this to your advantage. See you soon. I'm already bored. All the philosophical ramblings. I would rather outer border. I'd rather do like philosophy shit while high out of my mind. My typical high off my own blood isn't good enough right now. In darkness you are blind, so aimless we roam. The light will guide you all the way home. Unless you eat a lot of carrots, then your eyes will adjust to the darkness. Somewhat okay. As plants strive for light, bloom and reach their goal, so should we take flight towards the mother's soul. This has been a lot, like a really reedy episode all over again. Is there another random, maybe random? We just have the rat girl again? Let me guess, you have another poem. Sure. You guys can read it. I don't want to read anymore. It's mildly emo, which is, the rat looks emo. I mean, like, she's got a blue dyed mohawk, for crying out loud. Goth scene, emo, whatever you want to call it. And you, how are you doing? Fine, you? I'm okay. You seem to have grown since last time, really. In what way? There's really only one way to grow. Outwards. Why not inwards? I was trying to be funny, but yeah, whenever people grow or learn, I meant physical growth. They usually become more understanding of others, different situations and concepts. The more that you learn and think, the more you grow, and that's always a good thing. I agree. Also, the more you are... I'd say the best way you can understand others and people is the more pain also. You think the more you grow and the more you improve also can correlate with the more pain you have, because you can never hope to understand someone unless you can share the same pains they've had, which is usually why I would think being a good counselor to people. If you cannot experience or firsthand understand, like if someone comes to you and say, some guy punched me nearly to death, they broke my nose, they broke my ribs, and you know, your only reaction is what? Oh, wow, that sucks. I can't imagine how scary that was. You don't know how it feels because you've never experienced that situation. Granted, we'll never feel or experience every negative situation in life, but the more that we do understand pain in itself, we will learn how to conquer it and help others conquer it and understand each other, because being alive means pain, because we're all in a nihilistic world of pain and misery and suffering, and we have to get through it together. Obviously, yeah. Also, I'm getting really sweaty from the heat. It's bugging me, man. It's really bugging me. One would think yes, but from what I've gathered, not everyone thinks that way. Really? Do go on. Have you ever had a friend or something that seemed envious about something you've done or achieved? All the time. Let's say you've changed your opinion or something. You now hold a broader perspective on something. Well, some people embrace that. Others say, you've changed. That's like a bad thing. Yeah, I mean, especially for me in politics. Like, politics, I won't even get into politics, but I'm eccentric. So it's like, if I have a non-absolute viewpoint, like someone be like, I'm a Maple Leafs fan. They're going to be 100% Maple Leafs. If you're not Maple Leafs, fuck you. If you're a left wing or if you're a right wing, it's like, fuck you for having a different opinion. God. Or something like that, you know? These people hold you down. I think they just don't understand or are afraid to change themselves. Being wrong is scary. It means you might have to change things about yourself. Gasp! Danger! Precisely! I agree. Sorry, I got carried away. It's okay. Good. Yeah, that's perfect. That is a good way of thinking. I like her attitude. How about you? Be who are and say what you feel, because those who mind do not matter. Was that Albert Einstein? I think that was Albert Einstein. Someone is feeling philosophical. You know, every fucking character in this fucking game. It's just a quote I read once. It's great, though. Why was Albert Einstein in this universe? It's great, though. It reminds us to stay true to ourselves and surround us with people who actually care about your well-being. Stop wasting your energy and trying to impress people who are never going to be impressed by you. I mean, that's a fault I have problems in. I'm trying to always persuade people that I honestly should just give the fuck up on. And it's not to sound toxic or anything, but I know I'm a conflicting person. It's either people are going to really like me, or people are going to really hate me. It's one or the other. It's a yin-yang. And usually I try to be true or blunt and honest to both sides, and it usually gets me in trouble. But focusing on one or the other just means you're sort of sweeping your problems in conflict under a rug, and I hate doing that, so I try to give some energy to both sides and hope I can learn from that. Yes, they're lost though, indeed. Now, what do you have to say, Trap? Welcome back from D! How did it go? Something about tunnels and consciousness. I didn't really understand. The whole universe is already pre-built as a tunnel system. The consciousness is there and always will be. I mean, that's your opinion. I don't 100% agree with you, but does that mean that the future and past exist at the same time? What sounds like determinism. Everything exists at the same time. Is this basically preaching determinism? I mean, there's nothing wrong with it, because like I said, if you do research on that, free will versus not, it's interesting. What else would you do? Just be without time, without matter or purpose? It gets boring quite fast. Does that mean I'm alone? Well, in a sense, yes. It depends on how you'd define it. As a person, no, you're not alone. We are all here, but all are also one. As a consciousness, you're alone. Always have been, always will. How do I know what's real? What really is real? People, like everything else in 4 dimensions, are tunnels. But you experiencing this are very real, so is everyone else. Everyone is experiencing all at the same time. I'm confused. One thing to remember is that this universe is vastly more enormous than anyone could ever imagine. Or else your brain would explode, probably. Quite ironically, the universe imaging itself. What? Or imagining itself. It's actually impossible for a person to comprehend the wholeness of the universe. Only when you've reached the state of wholeness, you being everything that is, can you comprehend what you truly are. It sounds like it sort of takes a reference from Dante's Inferno. Have I not reached that state at some point? Well, yes and no. As a human, not even close. Being a human is only a gateway to a higher consciousness and understanding of yourself, but at an infinite number of other occurrences, you as the wholeness have experienced yourself as the wholeness you are. Okay, and how do you know this? Well, I am you, sort of. Like the memory you left behind from previous chips in the universe. You've recorded everything you've observed and thought about, concept you've discovered, and so on. So it's basically when I said I'm building the harem and this person was a part of it, I had a harem with myself in it. Try to keep that in mind. I had a harem with myself. I mean, I just watched a PewDiePie video where he showed his cringy past in anime forums, and he typed a comment saying, he's basically saying, incest is wincest. So PewDiePie is into wincest, apparently. It's just a thought to throw that out there. So you're my diary, sort of, yeah, and this is how far you've written so far in the cycle. Okay, so this is also in, I guess, reincarnation, obviously. Each cycle is determined by how long it took for you to discover your true self. Then forgetting about yourself and simply starting over. That sounds really fucking boring. Sounds kind of pointless. Yep. That's pretty much the point. Saying that the universe or your life as a point is quite pointless in itself. As a point or meaning is something completely subjective, and to be able to hold a subjective opinion, you need to be a self. A person or a being as your true self. You are everything, not really a self. Or a being. I'm sure many of you are just really, really... You're probably just done as I am right now. So the state is supposed to be pointless. I just want to end this conversation, get to the new level, and stop fucking there. It's going to be too long of a video, but we're going to do it anyways. Well, you see, it's not really that simple. When you reach that state, everything, and I mean everything, will be clear to you. That completeness is an ecstatic point of being. That, well, can't be put into words. So you're saying, if I become whole, I have an orgasm, and then I'm reincarnated, basically. It's like, oh, I feel so complete. Oh, ooh. It's good shit. Good shit, apparently. How do you know? Because we've been there before, you and I, but I'm only giving you hints on the way there. What's the fun in spoiling everything? So it's like I'm in a club full of people, or this person and D, who've experienced the orgasm of completeness, and I'm left out so far. Okay. What's the fun in spoiling everything for you? I'm more here to make sure you don't stray too far away from your path. So you're saying I have a linear path and it's kind of boring. It's about rediscovering it. No spoilers, but the result's always going to be the same because these people guide me in the right direction, so I can't have a non-linear approach, apparently. What happens if I do? Not much. You can't really do much harm other than to yourself, in that sense that you might get into an unpleasant place where nothing makes sense and you're terrified. Let's just say it's far from fun. Like a psychosis. Exactly. And we've been there many times. Just look at D, I guess. So you're here to make sure I don't go insane. Let's not go that far. Insanity itself is not always bad. What is insanity? What is sanity to you? Not crazy? It's going on and on. Did you notice that I asked what it means to you? Again, it's something subjective. There's no objective sanity, no objective sanity, no objective insanity. It's all in your head, well, in your current subjective experience. And some insanity can be good. Well, yeah, I mean, like, usually people think, well, what's the old quote? That being a genius, being insane is just another step. It's like, god damn, I can't remember exactly, but it's like, being insane is just another step ahead of being a genius, basically, is what I think the quote is. Sanity for the current generation of human race is being unhappy and work until you die only to buy stuff that doesn't make you happy. Steam games! Then that sanity might not be healthy or good. Likewise, if choosing to live in nature, enjoying every moment as it is, meditating and appreciating life is insane, then isn't insane quite good? Well, people don't view things like that, though. I guess it depends on the individual. Exactly. So I'm only here to make sure you don't go down a path that will leave you in a state of deep depression, as some lifestyles and choices will inevitably do. You can, however, completely ignore all of my advice and stray as far as ways you can want. You will, however, never be able to escape what you are. So I'm a prisoner of myself, suddenly I feel claustrophobic. Yes, quite ironic, isn't it? The vastness of everything, the infinite unnumbered possibilities the universe provides, and yet we sometimes feel like it isn't enough, like we are trapped, doomed, if you will. I need some time to digest this. Please, you're in no hurry. Take all the time you need in this life, the next, as many as you like, until you feel like reaching the state of completeness and that orgasmic bliss. As you once said, maybe it's better to live in sleep in constant dreamscapes. What is reality anyways? Couldn't have put it better myself. I guess I get the irony in that or something? I don't know. Well, off you go to the next adventure. Thank you. Bye. Bye. Fuck you, sloth. Fuck me, Jesus, the reading. I'm done. It's almost 30 minutes long, this video. God damn it. I frequently dream of catching rabies? Rabies? Why rabies? It's starting to frighten me. Frothing at the mouth. Oh no, I'm already afraid of water. I can barely control my movement and impulses. I'm highly anxious, paranoid even. Sometimes I can't sleep for days at a time. I experience memory loss and I keep drifting in and out of consciousness. Any hallucinations yet? I don't know. It's hard to tell at this point. Wait, who are you? I'm just done with reading. Losing control with an axe and a box of either porn or bird seeds. Let's just leave it here. For the love of God, I'm just ending it. So I hope you enjoyed this fucking episode. If you did, and you actually survived to this length, I'm not even going to split this video. I'm just going to keep it as is. If you enjoyed, please leave a like, comment, hit that subscribe button, become a subscriber, and share this video with all your loved ones to help spread my name on YouTube and make me grow, because I don't use clickbait. Clickbait is the only way to grow on YouTube, and I don't use clickbait, so it's very hard for me to grow. So if you did enjoy, please do that. And please hit the bell down below to stay updated to all my videos on YouTube. And until the next time. He is coming. Well, he better pull out or he'll get the bitch pregnant. Dick joke. Funny. Nah, I'll save those for Markiplier. I mean, most YouTubers seem to jump at every possibility and every chance they can get for some kind of dick joke.